Marcus Johnson woke up at 4 in the morning. He always started his day early. He had worked at International Airport for 15 years now. Marcus was proud of his job as a senior baggage handler. He knew every part of the huge airport where he worked. The other workers liked Marcus. They said he was a hard worker and always stayed positive, even when the airport was very busy. Marcus got ready quickly. He put on his blue uniform with the airport logo on the chest. His wife Shanice was still sleeping. He kissed her forehead gently and left their small house in the suburbs. The drive to the airport took 30 minutes. Marcus liked this quiet time in his car. He listened to old soul music and watched the sun start to rise. When Marcus arrived at the airport, it was already busy. Summer was the busiest time of year. Thousands of people were going on vacation. The lines at check-in were long. Marcus went through the employee entrance and clocked in. His supervisor Tom gave him his daily tasks. "We have a busy one today, Marcus," Tom said. "Flight 372 to Chicago has some issues. They found a problem during the safety check. The mechanics are working on it, but it will cause delays." Marcus nodded. "I will help wherever you need me." He went to the baggage area first. Marcus and his team loaded bags for 3 flights without any problems. The airport was working like a well-oiled machine. That was until Flight 372 had its 3rd delay announcement. The voice came over the speaker. "Attention passengers for Flight 372 to Chicago. We are sorry to inform you that your flight has been delayed by 2 more hours due to mechanical issues. We apologize for any inconvenience." Marcus could hear the groans from the terminal. He knew that angry passengers would soon be looking for someone to blame. He had seen it many times before. Marcus continued working, moving heavy bags from one belt to another. His back hurt a little, but he ignored it. Around 9 in the morning, Marcus had to go through the main terminal to get to another gate. As he walked in his uniform, he could feel eyes on him. People were tired and angry from waiting. A man in an expensive suit pointed at Marcus. "Look at him walking around like he has all the time in the world," the man said loudly. "It is probably his fault we are still sitting here." Marcus tried to ignore the comment. He had learned over the years that engaging with angry passengers rarely helped. But the man kept talking. "Hey you," the man called out. "Are you going to fix the plane or just walk around?" Other passengers started to look. Some nodded in agreement with the man. A woman took out her phone and started recording. Marcus stopped walking. He turned to face the man. He kept his voice calm and professional. "Sir, I understand you are frustrated. The delay is because of mechanical issues with the aircraft. The mechanics are working as fast as they can to make sure the plane is safe for everyone." The man laughed. "Sure, blame it on something else. You people are all the same, never taking responsibility." Marcus felt a cold feeling in his stomach. He knew what the man meant by "you people." He had heard comments like this before. The woman was still recording with her phone. "Sir, I am a baggage handler. I do not work on the planes. But I can assure you that everyone at this airport is doing their best to get you to your destination safely." Some passengers seemed to understand. They went back to their phones or books. But the man in the suit was not finished. "I will be filing a complaint." "What is your name?" he demanded. "Marcus Johnson, sir," Marcus said clearly. He had nothing to hide. He knew he was doing his job well. As Marcus walked away, he could hear the man talking to other passengers. The woman with the phone was still recording. Marcus continued to the next gate. He tried to focus on his work, but the man's words kept repeating in his mind. What Marcus did not know was that the video was already being uploaded to social media. By the end of his shift, thousands of people would see it, and his life was about to change forever. Marcus finished his shift at 4 in the afternoon. His back hurt from lifting heavy bags all day. He was tired, but he had done his job well. The airport was still busy with summer travelers. As Marcus walked to the employee break room, his phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a text from his friend Kevin, who also worked at the airport. Check social media. A video of you is going around. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He sat down on a bench and opened the social media app on his phone. It did not take long to find the video. The woman who had been recording in the terminal had posted it online. The caption read, "Lazy airport worker makes excuses for flight delays." The video showed Marcus talking to the angry man in the suit, but it started in the middle of their conversation. It did not show how the man had called out to Marcus first. It looked like Marcus had stopped to argue with a passenger. The comments under the video were harsh. "Fire him. This is why flights are always late. He should find another job if he cannot handle it." Marcus put his phone away. His hands were shaking a little. He knew how these things worked. Once something went viral, the truth did not matter much. People saw what they wanted to see. He clocked out and walked to his car. On the way, 3 different coworkers asked him about the video. News traveled fast at the airport. Marcus just shook his head and kept walking. He wanted to go home. The drive home felt longer than usual. Marcus tried to listen to his music, but he kept thinking about the video. By tomorrow, thousands more people would see it. What would his bosses say? Marcus had never been in trouble at work before. He had received awards for his good service many times. When Marcus got home, Shanice was cooking dinner. The smell of her famous chicken stew filled the house. Normally, this would make Marcus smile. Today, he just dropped his keys on the table and sat down heavily. "What is wrong?" Shanice asked, wiping her hands on a towel. Marcus told her about the video and showed it to her on his phone. Shanice watched it with a frown on her face. "This is not fair," she said. "They do not show what happened before." "And why did she post this? What did she hope to gain?" Marcus shook his head. "People just want something to be angry about. Today it was me." They ate dinner together, but the food did not taste as good as usual. Marcus could not stop checking his phone. The video now had over 50,000 views. Some news websites had picked it up with headlines like "Airport Worker Confronts Frustrated Passenger" and "Viral Video Shows Airport Staff Attitude." "Maybe you should call your boss," Shanice suggested. "Explain what really happened." "And say what?" "That a passenger was racist to me." "That will not make the video go away," Marcus said. That night, Marcus could not sleep well. He kept thinking about going to work the next day. Would people look at him differently? Would passengers recognize him from the video? His alarm went off at 3:30 in the morning. Marcus got up and got ready for work. He put on his uniform and looked at himself in the mirror. He was the same person he had always been, a hard worker, a good man. He would not let one video change that. When Marcus arrived at the airport, his supervisor Tom was waiting for him at the employee entrance. Tom's face was serious. "The manager wants to see you, Marcus," Tom said. "The video has caused some problems. The passenger in the suit is a frequent flyer with the airline. He has filed a formal complaint." Marcus nodded. He had expected something like this. "I will go talk to the manager." "For what it is worth," Tom added, "I know you did nothing wrong. We all do." Marcus walked to the manager's office. Other workers looked at him as he passed. Some gave him supportive nods. Others looked away. The airport felt different today. Less like the place he had worked for 15 years, and more like somewhere he did not belong. He knocked on the manager's door, took a deep breath, and went inside. What the manager would say next would change everything for Marcus. The manager's office was cold. Marcus sat in the chair across from the big desk. Manager Davis had been running this part of the airport for 10 years. He was not a bad man, but he cared most about keeping the airlines happy. "Marcus, we have a problem," Davis said. He turned his computer screen so Marcus could see the video. It now had over 200,000 views. "This is not good for the airport's image." "Sir, that video does not show the whole story," Marcus said. "That man spoke to me first. He was being rude to me because of how I look." Davis nodded slowly. I believe you, Marcus. Your record here is excellent. But the passenger, Mr. Reynolds, is an important business traveler. He flies with this airline at least twice a week, and now he is threatening to take his business elsewhere. Marcus felt his face get hot. So my 15 years of good work means nothing compared to one angry passenger. That is not what I am saying, Davis replied. But we need to handle this carefully. The airline is asking us to take action. Marcus waited. He knew what was coming next. We think it would be best if you take a few days off. Paid leave, of course, just until this blows over. Marcus could not believe what he was hearing. You are punishing me for doing nothing wrong. Not punishing, just creating some space. The video will be forgotten in a few days, and then you can come back to work. Marcus stood up. His hands were balled into fists at his sides. This is not right, sir. I know it does not feel fair, Marcus, but sometimes we have to make hard choices to protect the business. Take the 3 days. Go home and rest. Marcus walked out of the office without another word. He felt eyes on him as he went through the employee area to get his things. Everyone knew by now. The story had spread through the airport like a fire. His friend Kevin caught up with him in the parking lot. What happened? They put me on leave. 3 days, Marcus said. His voice was flat. Kevin shook his head. That is ridiculous. Want me to talk to my union rep? No, I just want to go home. The drive home was a blur. Marcus could not remember stopping at any red lights or making any turns. Suddenly, he was in his driveway, sitting in his car with the engine off. Shanice was surprised to see him home so early. When he told her what happened, she was angry. They cannot do that. You have rights, Marcus. We should call a lawyer. Marcus sat at the kitchen table. And say what? They gave me paid time off. On paper, they did nothing wrong. But it is still not right, Shanice insisted. For the next 2 days, Marcus stayed home. He did little things around the house. Fixed the leaky bathroom sink, mowed the lawn, but his mind was always on the airport. He had never missed work before, except when he had the flu 5 years ago. On the 3rd day, Marcus decided to look at the airport safety manual. If he could not be at work, he would at least use this time to study. He had always taken safety seriously. As he read through the thick book of rules and procedures, something caught his eye. There was a whole section on baggage handling safety requirements. Marcus read about how often equipment should be checked and replaced, how many safety drills were supposed to happen each month, how new workers should be trained. Marcus frowned. Many of these rules were not being followed at the airport. The conveyor belt in Terminal B had been broken for months. They kept fixing it with temporary patches. New workers got only 1 day of training, not the required 5 days. The emergency stop buttons on the baggage claim areas were rarely tested. He had reported some of these issues before. Small forms filled out and passed to supervisors. Nothing had ever changed. Now, as Marcus sat in his kitchen because of an unfair video, he felt something shift inside him. If the airport did not care about treating him fairly, did they care about safety at all? What if there was a bigger problem? What if passengers were at risk because of all these ignored safety rules? Marcus picked up his phone and made a call. Not to his boss or to a lawyer. He called the Federal Aviation Administration office that oversaw airport safety. It was time for someone to pay attention. I need to report multiple safety violations at International Airport, he said when someone answered. And I have the proof right here. The woman at the Federal Aviation Administration listened carefully as Marcus explained the safety problems at the airport. Her name was Mrs. Rivera. She took many notes as Marcus spoke. Mr. Johnson, these are serious claims, she said when he finished. How long have these issues been going on? Some for months. Some for years, Marcus said. I have dates written down. I also have pictures on my phone. Can you email everything to me? We will need to investigate this. Marcus agreed. After the call, he spent hours organizing his evidence. He had more than he realized. Pictures of broken equipment with dates. Copies of safety reports he had filled out that were never addressed. Notes about training problems he had seen. When Shanice came home from her job as a teacher, she found Marcus surrounded by papers at the kitchen table. "What is all this?" she asked. "Evidence," Marcus said. "The FAA is going to investigate the airport." Shanice looked worried. "Are you sure about this, Marcus? What if you lose your job?" Marcus looked up at his wife. "I might lose it anyway. That video is not going away. And what if something bad happens because they ignore these safety problems? I could not live with that." Shanice nodded. She understood. She had always loved Marcus for doing what was right, even when it was hard. That night, Marcus sent all his evidence to Mrs. Rivera. Then he tried to sleep, but his mind kept working. Tomorrow was his last day of forced leave. He would have to go back to the airport the next day. What would happen then? The next morning, Marcus got a phone call from Mrs. Rivera. "Mr. Johnson, we have reviewed your evidence. This is very concerning. We are sending inspectors to the airport today." Today? Marcus was surprised. He thought it would take weeks. "These are urgent safety matters. We cannot wait. The inspectors will arrive by noon." Marcus thanked her and hung up. He felt both worried and relieved. Someone was finally taking the safety issues seriously. But what would happen when the airport found out he was the one who reported them? At noon, Marcus was still at home. He was getting ready to return to work the next day. His phone rang again. It was Kevin from the airport. "Marcus, you will not believe what is happening here," Kevin said. His voice was excited and nervous. "FAA inspectors showed up without warning. They are checking everything. They already shut down 2 conveyor belts in Terminal B." Marcus pretended to be surprised. "Really? That is strange. The managers are panicking. Davis is running around like his pants are on fire." Kevin laughed. "Hey, maybe you should stay home another day. This place is crazy right now." After talking to Kevin, Marcus turned on the local news. There was nothing about the airport yet, but by 3 in the afternoon, it was the top story. "Breaking news," the TV announcer said. "Federal inspectors have found multiple safety violations at International Airport. Sources say several areas of Terminal B have been closed for emergency repairs." Marcus watched as the news showed pictures of the airport. Crowds of confused travelers stood in long lines. Airport staff looked stressed as they tried to help. The reporter interviewed a young woman who was missing her flight. "They just told us everything is closed," she said. "No one knows when it will open again." Marcus's phone buzzed with a text. It was from Tom, his supervisor. "Did you have something to do with this FAA inspection?" Marcus did not reply. He was not ready to tell anyone yet. By evening, the situation at the airport was getting worse. The news said more areas had been closed. Over 50 flights were canceled. Travelers were being sent to other airports. Marcus turned off the TV and sat in silence. He had started something big. He had wanted the safety problems fixed, but he had not expected this much chaos. Was he doing the right thing, or had he made a big mistake? His phone rang again. It was Manager Davis. Marcus took a deep breath and answered. "Johnson, we need to talk," Davis said. His voice was tense. "The FAA inspectors found your name on all those old safety reports. They want to interview you tomorrow morning." This was it. The moment of truth had arrived faster than Marcus expected. "I will be there," Marcus said. He hung up and looked at Shanice. "They know it was me." The next morning, Marcus drove to the airport. The parking lot was almost empty. There were normally thousands of cars on a weekday. Today, there were only a few hundred. Signs at the entrance said, "Terminal B closed for maintenance." News vans were parked near the main doors. Marcus walked through the employee entrance. Security guards checked his ID badge twice. Everyone seemed tense and serious. When he reached the main office area, he saw a group of people waiting for him. Manager Davis was there, looking angry. Mrs. Rivera from the FAA was there with two other inspectors. And surprisingly, the airport director, Mr. Wilson, was there too. Marcus had only seen him a few times in 15 years. "Mr. Johnson, thank you for coming in," Mrs. Rivera said. Her voice was the only friendly one in the room. "We have many questions for you." They all went into a large meeting room. Marcus sat on one side of the table. Everyone else sat on the other side. "Mr. Johnson, did you report these safety violations to the FAA?" Mr. Wilson asked. His face was serious. "Yes, sir, I did," Marcus said. He felt scared but also calm. He knew he had done the right thing. "Why did you go outside the chain of command? Why not bring these concerns to your managers first?" Mr. Wilson asked. Marcus took a deep breath. "I did, sir. Many times. I filled out safety reports for years. I told my supervisors about the broken equipment. Nothing was ever fixed." Mrs. Rivera opened a folder. "We have copies of Mr. Johnson's safety reports dating back 3 years. None of them were properly addressed according to FAA regulations." Manager Davis looked uncomfortable. "We had budget issues. We were planning to fix those problems next quarter." Mrs. Rivera shook her head. "Safety issues cannot wait for budget cycles. These violations put workers and passengers at risk." The meeting went on for 2 hours. Marcus answered every question honestly. He showed them more pictures on his phone. He explained how the temporary fixes kept failing. He talked about the lack of proper training for new staff. At the end, Mr. Wilson looked tired. "Mr. Johnson, I want to thank you for bringing these issues to light, though I wish you had come directly to me first." "Would you have listened, sir?" Marcus asked. Mr. Wilson did not answer. After the meeting, Marcus was asked to wait outside. He sat on a bench in the hallway. Through the glass walls, he could see the airport officials arguing with the FAA inspectors. He felt strange. Part of him was proud for standing up for safety. Part of him was worried about his job. Kevin found him sitting there. "Man, you are either very brave or very crazy," he said. "Everyone is talking about you." "What are they saying?" Marcus asked. "Some think you are a hero. Some think you are a traitor. Depends on who you ask." An hour later, Mrs. Rivera came out of the meeting room. She sat next to Marcus on the bench. "The inspection will continue for several days," she said, "but I wanted you to know that you did the right thing. We found over 30 serious safety violations. Terminal B will remain closed until they are fixed." "What about my job?" Marcus asked. "By law, they cannot fire you for reporting safety violations. You are protected as a whistleblower." She handed him a card. "But if they try anything, call me directly." As Mrs. Rivera walked away, Manager Davis came out of the meeting room. His face was red with anger. "You have caused millions of dollars in losses," he said to Marcus. "The airlines are furious. Passengers are stranded." "I did not cause the safety problems," Marcus said. "I just reported them." Davis pointed a finger at Marcus. "You are suspended until further notice, with pay as required by law. But do not think this is over." Marcus stood up. He was taller than Davis. "No, sir, it is just beginning. Those safety issues should have been fixed long ago." As Marcus walked out of the airport, reporters saw him. One of them recognized him from the viral video. "Are you the baggage handler who was in that video last week?" she asked, pushing a microphone toward him. Marcus stopped. This was his chance to tell his side of the story. Marcus looked at the reporter, and the camera pointed at him. For a moment, he thought about walking away. He did not like being in the spotlight, but he knew this was important. "Yes, I am Marcus Johnson," he said. "I was in that video." More reporters came running over. Soon, there were 5 cameras around him. "Mr. Johnson, did you report the safety violations at the airport?" a reporter asked. "Yes, I did," Marcus said. "After 15 years of working here, I saw too many problems being ignored." "What kind of problems?" another reporter asked. Marcus spoke clearly. broken equipment that was fixed with temporary patches, safety systems that were not tested regularly, training that was cut short to save money. Is it true that the entire Terminal B is shut down because of your report? A young reporter asked. The terminal is shut down because of the safety violations, Marcus corrected him. I just made sure someone knew about them. The reporters asked more questions. Marcus answered honestly but carefully. He did not want to say anything that would make things worse. He did not name any managers or blame specific people. He just talked about the problems he had seen. Mr. Johnson, do you think your report is connected to that viral video where you were blamed for flight delays? A woman reporter asked. Marcus took a deep breath. This was the question he had been waiting for. I think that sometimes it takes a moment of unfairness to make us look more closely at the bigger picture, he said. When I was sent home for doing nothing wrong, I had time to think about all the safety issues I had reported over the years, issues that were never fixed. I realized that if the airport did not care about treating employees fairly, they might not care about safety either. And I was right. The interview was shown on the local news that night. By morning, it was on national news. The story was no longer about a viral video of an airport worker. Now it was about safety violations and a whistleblower who stood up for what was right. Marcus stayed home as directed by the airport. Shanice took time off from her teaching job to be with him. Their phone rang constantly. Reporters wanted more interviews. Workers from the airport called to offer support. Even some passengers who had been on Flight 372 called to apologize for how he was treated. 3 days after the interview, Marcus got a surprising call. It was Mr. Reynolds, the businessman in the suit who had started the whole trouble with the viral video. Mr. Johnson, he said. His voice sounded different now. Less angry. I saw you on the news. I want to apologize for my behavior at the airport. Marcus was silent for a moment. He had not expected this. I was frustrated about my flight, Mr. Reynolds continued. But that was no excuse to treat you the way I did. And I certainly never meant for that video to cause you trouble. Thank you for saying that, Marcus said. He did not know what else to say. I have also written a letter to the airport director, Mr. Reynolds said. I told him that you were professional and that I was the one who behaved badly. After that call, Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Not everyone was willing to admit when they were wrong. Mr. Reynolds had shown character by apologizing. A week passed. The airport was still working to fix all the safety violations. Terminal B remained closed. Flights were being moved to other terminals or airports. The news reported that the repair costs would be in the millions of dollars. Then Marcus got another call from Mr. Wilson, the airport director. Mr. Johnson, we need to talk, he said. Can you come to my office tomorrow morning? Am I still suspended? Marcus asked. Yes, technically. But this meeting is important. It is about the future. Marcus agreed to the meeting. That night, he could not sleep. Was he about to lose his job of 15 years? Would they find some way around the whistleblower protection laws? He tossed and turned until morning. When he arrived at the airport the next day, something felt different. Workers smiled at him as he walked through the halls. Someone even patted him on the back. What was going on? He reached Mr. Wilson's office and knocked on the door. It was time to find out what the future held. Mr. Wilson was not alone in his office. There was a woman in a business suit sitting across from his desk. She stood up when Marcus entered. Mr. Johnson, this is Ms. Peddle from the Airport Safety Board, Mr. Wilson said. She has been overseeing the repairs in Terminal B. Marcus shook her hand. She gave him a warm smile. Please, sit down, Mr. Wilson said. His tone was different from their last meeting. Less angry, more respectful. Mr. Johnson, the past 2 weeks have been difficult for the airport. Mr. Wilson began. The closure of Terminal B has cost us millions of dollars. Airlines are upset. Passengers are frustrated. Marcus nodded but said nothing. However, Mr. Wilson continued, the FAA inspection has shown that your safety concerns were valid. All of them. In fact, they found problems that even you did not know about. Ms. Patel opened a folder. We identified 47 separate safety violations. Some were minor, but at least 12 were serious enough to pose real risk to workers and passengers. The point is, Mr. Wilson said, you were right to report these issues, and I was wrong not to listen when these problems were first reported through proper channels. Marcus was surprised. He had not expected an admission like this. We have made significant progress on the repairs, Ms. Patel said. About 60% of the issues have been fixed. We expect Terminal B to reopen in sections, starting next week. That is good news, Marcus said. Mr. Wilson leaned forward. Mr. Johnson, I want to offer you a new position at the airport. We are creating a safety compliance team that will report directly to me. I would like you to lead it. Marcus was shocked. You want to promote me? Yes. Your experience and your commitment to safety make you the right person for this job. You will have the authority to inspect any area of the airport and report problems directly to me. No more ignored safety reports. What about Manager Davis? Marcus asked. Mr. Wilson's face darkened. Mr. Davis has been suspended pending an investigation. The FAA found evidence that he deliberately ignored safety reports and falsified maintenance records. Marcus thought about the offer. It was a big promotion. More money, more responsibility, but also a chance to make real changes. I would need to pick my own team, he said. People I trust. Of course, Mr. Wilson agreed. You will have full authority to build your team. And we need a better system for workers to report problems without fear of being ignored or punished. Ms. Patel is already working on that, Mr. Wilson said. The new system will include regular safety audits and clear procedures for addressing problems. Marcus thought for another moment. I accept the position, he said finally. They spent the next hour discussing details of the new job. When Marcus left the office, he felt like he was walking on air. Not only had he kept his job, but he had been promoted to a position where he could make real changes. Kevin was waiting for him in the hallway. So, what happened? They offered me a new job, Marcus said. I am going to lead the new safety compliance team. Kevin whistled. Wow. From suspended to promoted in 2 weeks. That must be some kind of record. It is not about me, Marcus said. It is about making the airport safer for everyone. Well, you are a hero around here now, Kevin said. Even the people who were mad at first have changed their minds. The news reports about all those safety violations opened a lot of eyes. As they walked through the airport, several workers stopped to shake Marcus's hand. A young baggage handler asked for advice about reporting a broken latch on a cargo door. Marcus took the time to listen and promised to look into it personally. When Marcus got home that evening, Shanice was waiting anxiously. How did it go? She asked. Marcus told her everything. About the promotion, about Davis being suspended, about the new safety systems being put in place. Shanice hugged him tightly. I am so proud of you, she said. You stood up for what was right, even when it was hard. That night, they celebrated with a special dinner. As they ate, Marcus thought about how much had changed in just 2 weeks. From being unfairly blamed in a viral video to becoming the head of airport safety. Life could change so quickly. But more importantly, he had shown that one person could make a difference. By speaking up, he had made the airport safer for thousands of workers and millions of passengers. That was worth more than any promotion. The next morning, Marcus would start his new job. There was still much work to be done. Terminal B was still mostly closed. Many safety issues still needed to be fixed. But for the first time in years, Marcus felt hopeful about the future of the airport and his place in it. On Monday morning, Marcus arrived at the airport wearing a new shirt and tie. Today was his first official day as head of the safety compliance team. He had a small office near the main terminal. It was nothing fancy, just a desk, a computer, and a few chairs. But it was his space to work from. His first task was to meet with his new team. He had picked 5 people he trusted. Kevin was one of them. There was also Maria from maintenance, Jackson from security, Diane from passenger services, and Tyrone from the loading dock. They all had years of experience at the airport. They all cared about doing things right. "Thank you all for joining this team," Marcus said when they were gathered in his office. "Our job is simple but important. We need to make sure this airport is safe for everyone who works here and everyone who travels through here." "Where do we start?" Maria asked. "There are still so many problems." Marcus handed out folders to each team member. "I made a list of priority areas. Each of you will be responsible for different sections of the airport. Document everything you find. Take pictures. We will meet every afternoon to discuss what needs immediate attention." The team went to work right away. Marcus stayed in his office to review the repair progress in Terminal B. Ms. Patel sent him daily reports. The work was moving faster now. Some areas would reopen tomorrow. Around noon, there was a knock on his door. It was a young woman he did not recognize. "Mr. Johnson, I am Jenny from the airport newsletter. Can I interview you for our employee spotlight?" Marcus was surprised. He had never been featured in the newsletter before. "Sure, come in," he said. Jenny asked him many questions about his years at the airport, about how he felt when the video went viral, about his decision to report the safety violations. Marcus answered honestly. "What do you hope to achieve in your new position?" Jenny asked. Marcus thought for a moment. "I want to create a culture where safety comes first, where every worker feels they can report problems without fear, and where those problems get fixed promptly. The airport is like a small city. We all need to look out for each other." After the interview, Marcus went to check on Terminal B. Parts of it were still closed off with yellow tape. Workers in hard hats were fixing conveyor belts, replacing worn-out parts, and installing new safety equipment. The sound of drills and hammers filled the air. Mr. Wilson was there, talking to a group of contractors. He waved Marcus over. "Johnson, good timing. These gentlemen have some questions about the emergency stop systems." Marcus spent an hour explaining how the emergency systems should work. He showed them the problems with the old setup and suggested improvements. The contractors took many notes. "You really know your stuff," Mr. Wilson said when they were done. "I should have listened to you years ago." "Better late than never, sir," Marcus replied. Later that afternoon, Marcus met with his team. Each member reported what they had found that day. The list of issues was long, but not overwhelming. They prioritized the most serious problems and made plans to address them. "This feels good," Kevin said as the meeting ended. "Like we are actually making a difference." The next day, a section of Terminal B reopened. There was a small ceremony with a ribbon cutting. Mr. Wilson asked Marcus to say a few words. Marcus was nervous. He was not used to public speaking, but he stepped up to the microphone and looked at the crowd of workers and reporters. "Today is an important day for our airport," he said, "not just because this terminal is reopening, but because it is reopening safely. We have fixed the problems that could have put people at risk. But our work is not done. Safety is not a one-time project. It is an ongoing commitment. From now on, we will be vigilant. We will listen to concerns, and we will act quickly to address them." The crowd applauded. Several news cameras recorded his speech. Marcus felt proud but also humble. He was just doing what was right. As the days passed, more sections of Terminal B reopened. Flights returned to normal schedules. Passengers moved through the terminal, most of them unaware of all the work that had gone into making it safe. One evening, as Marcus was leaving work, he saw a familiar face in the terminal. It was the businessman, Mr. Reynolds. He was pulling a suitcase, apparently getting ready for a flight. Mr. Reynolds saw Marcus too. He stopped and walked over. "Mr. Johnson," he said, extending his hand. "It is good to see you again." Marcus shook his hand. "Mr. Reynolds, are you catching a flight?" "Yes, back to Chicago," he said. "I hear you have been busy making changes around here." Just trying to make things better, Marcus said. Mr. Reynolds nodded. Well, I for one appreciate it, and I am truly sorry for my part in what happened to you. As Marcus watched Mr. Reynolds walk toward his gate, he realized something important. People could change. Airports could change. Systems could change. Sometimes it just took one person willing to stand up and speak out. 6 months passed. The airport had changed in many ways. All of Terminal B had reopened with new safety systems in place. Marcus and his team had conducted a full safety review of every area. They had found and fixed hundreds of problems, big and small. The safety compliance team now had its own section on the airport website where workers could report issues anonymously. There was also a monthly safety newsletter that highlighted improvements and recognized workers who had reported problems. Marcus had settled into his new role. He still missed working directly with the bags sometimes. The physical work had been satisfying in its own way, but he knew his new job was making a bigger difference. One morning, Marcus got a call from Mr. Wilson. "Johnson, can you come to my office? I have some news to share." When Marcus arrived, Mr. Wilson was smiling. "I just got off the phone with the National Aviation Safety Board. They want to recognize our airport for the improvements we have made." "That is great news, sir," Marcus said. "They are giving us their annual Safety Excellence Award, and they specifically mentioned your work as a key factor in the changes here." Marcus was surprised. "Really?" "Yes. They want you to come to Washington next month to accept the award on behalf of the airport." Marcus did not know what to say. 6 months ago, he had been just a baggage handler being blamed for a flight delay. Now he was being asked to accept a national award. "I would be honored, sir," he finally said. When Marcus told Shanice about the award, she insisted on buying him a new suit for the ceremony. "My husband, the safety hero," she said proudly as they shopped. "You deserve this, Marcus." The day of the award ceremony arrived. Marcus and Shanice flew to Washington, D.C. The ceremony was held in a grand hall with hundreds of people from airports all over the country. When it was time for the Safety Excellence Award, the presenter told Marcus's story to the crowd. "This year's award goes to International Airport, where one worker's courage led to a complete transformation," she said. Marcus Johnson reported safety violations that had been ignored for years. His actions led to necessary changes that have made the airport safer for millions of travelers. Marcus walked to the stage to accept the award. The crowd gave him a standing ovation. As he looked out at all the faces, he thought about how far he had come. "Thank you for this honor," he said into the microphone. "But I did not do this alone. Many people worked hard to make these changes happen. From the inspectors who verified the problems, to the workers who fixed them, to the managers who supported the changes." He paused, gathering his thoughts. 6 months ago, I was unfairly blamed for a flight delay. A video of me went viral for the wrong reasons. That experience showed me how quickly people can judge others without knowing the facts. But it also gave me the push I needed to speak up about the safety issues I had seen for years. The room was silent as everyone listened. I believe that we all have a responsibility to speak up when we see problems. Whether those problems affect one person or thousands of people, it is not always easy. It is not always popular. But it is always right. The applause was thunderous when he finished. Many people came up to shake his hand afterward. Some were from other airports, asking for advice on improving their own safety programs. When Marcus and Shanice returned home, there was more good news waiting. The airport board had approved funding for a permanent safety training center. Marcus would be in charge of running it, with an increased staff and budget. "You have started something important here," Mr. Wilson told him. "Other airports are looking at our program as a model. They want to learn from what we have done." A year after the viral video, Marcus was invited to speak at a national conference on workplace safety. As he prepared his presentation, he looked back at everything that had happened. The unfair blame that had started it all. The decision to report the safety violations. The terminal shutdown. The new job. The national award. the training center that was now teaching workers from airports across the country. Marcus included a slide in his presentation with a screenshot of the viral video that had once caused him so much trouble, but now he saw it differently. That moment of unfairness had led to positive changes that affected thousands of people. As Marcus finished his presentation, he shared a final thought with the audience. Sometimes the worst moments in our lives can lead to the best opportunities to make a difference, he said. When I was blamed for something I did not do, I could have just stayed quiet and moved on. But instead, I chose to speak up about the real problems I saw. And that made all the difference. The viral video was still online. People still watched it sometimes, but now the comments were different. "This is the guy who later exposed all those safety violations," one comment said. "He turned a bad situation into something good." Marcus Johnson was no longer known as the airport worker who was blamed for a delay. Now he was known as the man who shut down a terminal to make it safer, the man who stood up for what was right, the man who made a difference.